Thank you all, you wonderful teachers, for volunteering your time and making this happen. Here in the sanctuary, we have members, friends, families, and guests. Would you all turn and wave at the camera up by the clock and say hello to our Zoom friends? Morning, everybody. Morning. If you are new to the congregation, we want to get to know you. If you're attending via Zoom, you can fill out a newcomer card on our website, uuss.org/newcomers. It's in the chat now. We will send you information regarding our activities. After the service, if y'all would hang around, please stay for the coffee hub. In small group Zoom rooms, you'll have 12 minutes to visit with old friends and new. If you are new with us in the sanctuary, grab one of these wonderful greeters out there and they'll supply you with a newcomer card to fill out. Please join us outside on the beautiful patio after the service. Many of our groups will have tables out there so you can get more information about them. Especially those of you who are former choir or future choir members. Anthony, you can't miss him, he's the tallest guy out there, is hosting a meet and greet out on that patio. After 18 long, painful months, the choir is returning to their rehearsals this Wednesday. Good cue, I like that. They'll be out on the patio Wednesday at 7. So if you're interested, be sure to talk to Anthony. Wave your hand, Anthony. There you go. You can also email him. Now, this is a really hard email address. So are y'all ready? All right, I'm going to do it slow. Anthony@uuss.org. Got that? Okay, email it. This Thursday, our Adult Enrichment Committee invites you to attend part 1 of a 2-part series about the impact of electric vehicles. This will be led by our own member, Sean Fountain. Visit our website to get the Zoom link to attend Thursday night's class, or email adultenrichment@uuss.org. We hope you will visit that website and find new ways to live our mission, which states we come together to deepen our lives, to be a force for healing in the world. Thank you. And now, Reverend Roger.
Good morning. Good to be with you all. Happy October. Our chalice lighting time is upon us, so if you're home and you have a candle or chalice handy, this is the time to get ready to light your chalice as we light the chalice here in the sanctuary. You will see the words on the slide for the responsive reading, words of Reverend Lisa Friedman, and I will begin, and please respond with the words in bold. We touch the floor. We reach for the sky. We reach out our hands. We join voices. Our opening hymn is Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing in the gray hymnal at 126, and on the slides here, please rise as you're able, in body or spirit, and sing along.
Good morning. And thank you to Anthony, our pianist in training. Irina's going to be off next Sunday, so Anthony has graciously agreed to play. So he wanted to have a test run before. So did he do okay? What do you think? Okay. At this time in our service, we bring our joys and sorrows, our worries, grief, and gratitude into this beloved community. Did you know that you could send us a joy or a sorrow that you would like Roger or I to share with the congregation on Sunday morning? There's a link in the weekly message every week that we send out on Friday. And if you're not an internet person, just call the office and leave a message with Elaine. So Zoom folks, if you'd like to have your joy and sorrow shared, and all of you, please use that form online, and we're happy to share. Today, Rich and Mary Howard would like to share with us that they are in Reno this morning for a memorial service for Rich's cousin Fred Howard. They ask for our prayers for his family. I also want to remind everyone that this coming Thursday, the 6th at 6 p.m. is the memorial for Barbara Jodrey, and the following Friday morning at 11 a.m. will be our memorial for Fran Kennedy. So please, they're both Zoom, our regular Zoom link, and in person. So we hope to see you there to support families and be together honoring these wonderful people that were a part of our community. But now, those of you on Zoom, if you'd like to tell this community what is on your heart, please open the chat box at the bottom of your screen and type in what it is you'd like to share. And those of you who are in the sanctuary may share among yourselves as we all enjoy a gift of music from Irina. Let us begin. Thanks to all who have shared their joys and sorrows this morning. Let us send our love and care to all those in need today and all those who are celebrating joy in their lives. I wanted to correct myself for Fran Kennedy's memorial. It is the 15th, Friday the 15th at 11 a.m., so we hope that you'll join us for that. Our prayer this morning comes from the Reverend Marta Valentin. Let's take a couple of deep breaths together. And let's take one more and let this one out with a big old sigh. Oh, that's so good. Let's do that again. Let us pray. In gatherings, we are stirred like the leaves of the fall season, rustling around sacred trees, tossed hither and yon, until we come to rest together, quietly, softly. We come to gather strength from each other. We come to give strength to each other. We come to ask for strength from the Spirit of all that is and all that is not. When our hearts sing or when they frown, it is a way of compassion telling us to give. It is a way of peace telling us to share our gifts, for we are happiest and most powerful when love is made apparent in and through us. Spirit of the circle that is love, as we twirl in this dance that is life, we give thanks for reminding us each day of our task to ministering to each other with a searching glance, a safe touch, a generous smile, a thoughtful word. Thank you for reminding us that we are always building the beloved community. Thank you for reminding us that through our covenant with you, we covenant with each other and are made whole. In gratitude, we celebrate with open hearts and minds. We discover who we are, separate from each other and within one another. Spirit of life and love in this circle that holds all life, may we ever work towards widening its boundaries until there are none. Amen. Pause. Blessed be. Now let us take a few moments for silent reflection of the prayers in our own hearts. Let's remain seated and join in singing Blessed Spirit of My Life.
We have two readings today, and I'm going to give you the first one.
And I'll give you the second one.
You can move over. Here begins the first reading. Isaac and Rebekah have two sons, Jacob and Esau. Oh, this is from the book of Genesis, by the way, in the Hebrew Scriptures, which is a book of the Bible that is important to the Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. Isaac and Rebekah have two sons, Jacob and Esau. The tradition was that the firstborn male child would have the birthright of inheriting the father's property. This was true even if the sons were twins. While she was pregnant, Rebekah felt the kids wrestling in the womb. Jacob grabbed at his brother's heel, but he couldn't prevent Esau from emerging first into the world. The boys grew up, and Esau became a hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home. Isaac had a taste for wild game, and he favored the son Esau, the firstborn. But Rebekah favored the second one, Jacob. The brothers grew up into men. One day, when Jacob was cooking some red lentil stew, Esau came in from the open country, back from the hunt where he was not successful, and he was very hungry. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that stew. I'm starving." Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." "Look, I'm going to starve to death. What good is a birthright to me?" Then Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank, and then he got up and left. Many years later, when Isaac had become an old man and was nearly blind, he called his older son Esau and said, "My son." "Yes, father." "I'm an old man," he said. "I might die any day now. Do me a favor. Go out into the country and hunt me some game. Then fix me a hearty meal and bring it to me to eat so that I can give you my personal blessing before I die." He went. Overhearing this, Rebekah took the formal clothing of her older son Esau and she put it on her younger son Jacob. Because Esau was a hairy man, Rachel used goat skins to cover Jacob's hands and the smooth nape of his neck. Then she placed a hearty meal which she had fixed and fresh bread that she had baked into the hands of her son Jacob. He went to his father and said, "My father." "Yes," he said, "which son are you?" Jacob answered his father, "I'm your firstborn son, Esau. I did what you told me. Come now, sit up and eat this meal so you can give me your personal blessing." "So soon?" Isaac said. "How did you get it so quickly?" "Oh, Father, your God cleared the way for me." Isaac said, "Come close, let me touch you. Are you really my son Esau?" Jacob moved close to his father Isaac. Isaac felt him and said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He didn't recognize him because his hands were hairy like Esau's. "You're sure you are my son Esau?" "Yes, I am." Isaac said, "Bring the food so that I can eat and give you my personal blessing." Jacob brought it to him and he ate. He also brought him wine and he drank. Then Isaac said, "Come close, son, and kiss me." He came close and kissed him, and Isaac smelled the smell of his clothing. Finally, he blessed him. "The smell of my son is like the smell of the open country, blessed by God. May God give you of heaven's dew and earth's bounty of grain and wine. May peoples and nations honor you and serve you. You will master your brothers, and your mother's sons will honor you. Those who curse you will be cursed, and those who bless you will be blessed." That was Isaac's blessing of Jacob. Then Jacob left him, and right away Esau showed up from the hunt. He had prepared a hearty meal. He came to his father and said, "Let my father get up and eat of his son's game, that he may give me his personal blessing." His father Isaac said, "And who are you?" Here ends the first reading.
Stick with me. Our second reading comes from an advice column entitled Money Manners. It appears in a Canadian paper written by Jeannie Fleming and Leonard Schwartz. An early January edition headline stated, "What to do when exchanging gifts with a cheapskate." I'll read it and Roger will reply as the columnists. Dear Jeannie and Leonard, it happened again this Christmas. Every year, my husband and I ask his brother what he and his family of 4 would like for Christmas. And each year, William reels off a list of pricey items that end up costing a couple of $100. In return, he sends us next to nothing. This year, a bargain basement DVD and some drugstore bubble bath. I can't stand another year of opening William's cheap gifts and then getting the credit card bill for the nice things we sent his family. What should we do? By the way, the guy's not hurting for money. Nora.
Dear Nora, if you cannot stand playing Santa to William's Scrooge, stop asking William what's on his wish list. As it is, you and your husband are putting yourselves in the position of either having to buy the expensive gifts William wants or ignoring his requests. Next year, instead of asking, buy your brother-in-law and his family presents of your own choosing, presents that you won't resent having bought when his gifts arrive. Here ends the second reading.
Speaking of money, generosity is a spiritual practice. And as a congregation, we cultivate this practice by giving away half of our offering every Sunday to an organization that heals the world. This is the time of year where we're nominating organizations to be on the ballot for next year's community partners. So the deadline for those nominations is October 20th. And every community partner needs to be renominated to be considered for the following year. So if you have a community partner favorite on our current list or a new one that you'd like to propose, please get those nominations in. You can find them on our website, or you can call the office and they'll send you a copy. That was a copy of a copy. I think that was a copy of a copy. So our community partner for October is the Native American Health Center. This health center is committed to enhancing the quality of life by providing a culturally competent, holistic, and patient-centered continuum of care. There are no tribal or ethnic requirements to receive care at the center. They play a major role in the safety net in Sacramento, particularly since Medi-Cal benefits and managed care environment have made it very difficult for low-income Californians to get care. The Native American Health Center serves all who come. I encourage you to go to their website to learn more about this organization and to give generously in support. As you can see on the slide, coming up, there's up. As you can see on the slide, you can see the slide here or online. You can set up your phone to contribute by text. It's very simple, and then every Sunday you just are ready to go. You can also go to our website to donate, mail a check here to Sierra Boulevard. And if you're here with us in the sanctuary, there are donation bowls on the back table and right here in the front. So thank you so much. Now let us enjoy some beautiful music as we share our financial gifts.
Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower to the sun, brick and mortar and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we looked swell, full of that Yankee doodly-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell, and I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember, they called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we looked swell, full of that Yankee doodly-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell, and I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember, they called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Brother, can you spare a dime? Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Brother, can you spare a dime?
Please join me in the unison response. We're going to sing it too. And Anthony's going to give us a little intro, and then we're going to launch into it. May Thanksgiving and gratitude bless and multiply all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive.
Get your finances in order. So read the headline in a newspaper's business and money section a few years ago. It was the 1st of January, New Year's Day. The article gave us a checklist: reduce debt, watch your spending habits, and get a discipline of saving money. Practical, important help. However, beneath getting your finances in order is everyone's complicated relationship with money. This is a spiritual issue, and like other spiritual issues, it cannot be taken care of by New Year's resolutions and checklists alone. It takes practice, patience, and honesty. Nearly every religion or faith tradition has something to say about money, wealth, possessions, and resources, about how we use those resources for ourselves and for the needs of others. Liberal religious communities like this one can do affirm the importance of this life more than some future life. We do not dwell on otherworldly concerns, but on how we live in the world as it is. As a medium of exchange, money is one way, an important way, that we connect with the world. Our Soul Matters theme for this month of October is Cultivating Relationship. And today you are invited to reflect on your relationship with money. I believe we need to pay more attention to this relationship because if we don't pay attention to it, we risk ignoring the power and place of money in our lives. We are at risk of confusing money with our self-worth and our sense of possibility. In relationships, we risk seeing money or using money as a substitute for love or as an expression of our hurt or hostility. We need to pay attention, be honest, and show some patience with ourselves. For the next few minutes, I would like to invite you to go with me on a visit home to the place where I grew up in the Midwest. It was a few years ago now, this visit to see my relatives. In the year prior to my visit, an aunt has passed away. My uncle, her husband, had died suddenly 45 years earlier when I was 5, the same age as their son. After my uncle's death, she moved herself and her son far away from our state. I hadn't seen my aunt for decades before her death. On this day in my hometown, I'm visiting 3 other relatives, 2 adult cousins and their mother. Did you get your money? One of them asks. I look puzzled. Didn't you get the letter from the lawyer and the check? No, I say. They tell me all about it. My late Uncle Roy's estate had included an amount of money to be left for all of his nieces and nephews, money that would be dispersed if any of it would remain after his widow would pass away. And now she has died. So every group of children of my uncle's brothers and sisters would get a lump sum of $48,000 to be divided among those siblings in equal checks. This means that a family of 3 siblings will share a bequest, getting $16,000 each. A family of 2 siblings would get $24,000 each, and a lucky only child would get the full $48,000. I express my surprise at this news. They go get the letter and bring it to me. I read through it. I read the terms. I look at the list of names. My various groups of cousins are listed. My older brother, everyone in my generation except me. I'm not listed, I say. Well, honey, you weren't born yet when that was written, says one of these relatives. Oh, yes, I was. I was 5 when he died, the same age as his son. I think, surely I was too young when he wrote that will for Uncle Roy to decide that I was a bad nephew and leave me out of his will on purpose. He just forgot me. What are you going to do? One of them asks, getting excited and curious and nosy. Well, I'm not sure, I say. I guess I'll ask my brother about it. Anyway, it's only money. For the rest of the visit, we make small talk. But all the while, my mind is racing. Let's see. With my brother, each of us should get $24,000. But I won't. I was left out. Did my brother get that letter? I got here yesterday and stayed with him overnight, and he hasn't said anything about it. Is he hiding this from me? I need to ask him. So as we continue visiting, the cousins in the room tell me about a recent phone call that they have received from another cousin of ours about that money. That cousin is the most outwardly successful and accomplished person in the family, in our generation of the family anyway. Yet in spite of a great career and a 2-person household income and many trappings to display that, That successful relative never seems to have any money. And that person has been in touch with the other cousins about the money with the instruction, sign that letter, sign those papers, send them back to the lawyer right away so the lawyer can forward the checks to us. I realize that neither that cousin nor any of the others will feel like including little old me in some revised calculations to receive some of that inheritance. The only chance rests in my big brother's hands. My reaction to this news of a potential inheritance, a surprise inheritance, is like not feeling hungry at all and then walking into a room with a dining table full of steaming, great smelling food. Suddenly I want everything. I get in my rental car and I hit the highway to go up to my brother's house. We've planned a dinner out, just the two of us, for that evening. I'm thinking, I'll just wait and see if he brings this up. No, I need to bring it up. I need to get this over with. I'm worried about this conversation because my brother has been worried about money. It's unrealistic for him to be worried, in my opinion. He was able to retire early. His wife has a great job with benefits. Their house is paid off, and they own a vacation rental property. However, at the time of my visit, we're coming out of the Great Recession, and he has no confidence in the government, and the angry programs that he listens to on talk radio only add to his anxiety. Well, I won't make a big deal out of this, I think. Fights over money can tear a family apart. Before today, I didn't even imagine having any more money than my own earnings and my own savings. I think, if he gives me half of that money, I will just give most of it away. Yes, I will. In the book of Genesis, the brothers Jacob and Esau fight over their birthright, their inheritance. Esau, as a firstborn son, traditionally has the birthright. Yet after Esau returns from a hunting trip empty-handed and feeling very hungry, he is willing to accept a bowl of red lentil stew from his brother on his brother Jacob's terms. And the terms are that Esau must give up his birthright to Jacob. Esau trades in his future inheritance for the short-term gain of satisfying his appetite, his craving. Later on, the younger brother Jacob gets his mother's help to impersonate the older brother. He tricks their blind, aged father, Isaac, into giving the fatherly blessing to him instead of to Esau. In the story, the blessing cannot be taken back, even after the stealing is exposed. This theft launches a tumultuous future for the Hebrew people. It sets a standard of disharmony for the whole human family. The first family feud over an inheritance. I don't want my brother and me to end up like those guys. I just want us to share. Now I'm sitting in the kitchen of my brother's house. He's 12 years older and bigger and stronger than I am. He's standing and I'm sitting down. I need to talk to you about something, I say. I tell him about what I've learned, this discovery, and I ask him if he's received this letter that I read at my cousin's house earlier in the day. He says no. Well, the others have. You will, I say. I explain the way the letter is written and my situation, the humor of being the forgotten one. He doesn't get it. I avoid asking straight out, will you give me half of your money? So I try explaining some more. See, each set of siblings has to share a lump sum among themselves. Since there are two of us, each of us would get, oh, he says. Now he gets it. He pauses. Yeah, I'll give you some of that money if you're nice to me. I want to ask, what do you mean by some? How big a fraction is some? And what do you mean by nice? As a youth, I was not nice to my big brother. Looking back on my childhood, I see that I was taking out a lot of my frustration on him. I was angry at our parents. They were older than most kids' parents, distracted by alcoholism, physically unhealthy, and fragile. As a boy, I tried very hard not to be a burden. My big brother was happy, athletic, popular, strong, a safe target for my hostility, and strong enough to take it. And he took a lot of it from me. My brother got married before finishing college against our angry father's insistence. After college, he was unemployed. He mowed lawns to make money. He borrowed money from our parents. This was the early 70s when a little money went a long way, like a $100 loan here or there. And our dad used this to make my brother feel bad. Every $100 loan was an I told you so. On my birthday one year, I got a windfall of cash, birthday cards with dollar bills in them, and I was mowing lawns by this time myself. So as an 11-year-old, I was feeling flush. My brother came to me and asked for a loan, $100. He didn't want to ask our dad again and risk more criticism and ridicule. I lent him the cash. And I confirmed the terms of the loan by U.S. mail. At age 11, I really liked using the typewriter, and I sent him periodic statements of the debt that he owed me. And then I started sending postcards announcing amount past due. I don't recall if he paid me right away or called me names or told our mom to tell me to lay off. It was not a nice way to treat him. I realize now that in pestering my brother like that, I was trying to make a connection with him. An awkward, hostile, counterproductive 11-year-old's way of connecting. When he moved closer to our home, he made some money doing small engine repair in our garage, lawnmowers and other kinds of small engines. And I served as his agent. I put ads in the local paper, and I took phone calls from customers, and he paid me a small percentage for this role. And I would type up statements to tell him my commission. Our father's office was in our house, and I took business reply envelopes from Dad's office and used whiteout to change our dad's name on the envelopes to my own so that my brother could pay me. And I would write to my brother and let him know what he owed me, $2 here, $3 there, and so on. Now he doesn't owe me anything, and there's an enormous check on its way to him. He can choose to split it with me, or he can quite legally choose to keep it all. Fortunately, my brother, the firstborn son, has not held a grudge against me about how mean and hurtful I was as a kid. Apparently, he has granted forgiveness to me for that childish behavior. But I'm wondering, will he also grant me a full half of the money? He could say that he wants to save it for his own 2 children who are grown now and moved away, or use it for any other purpose he chooses. Money has such pull for us, such power. Of course it does. It's how we interact for the things we need and want, for the talents and the work we have to offer. As a medium of exchange, money simplifies our transactions. Yet because it stands for so much that we need and want and love and fear, Money makes life complicated. Most of us learn our habits regarding money from the habits and the attitudes of the family culture in which we grow up. Growth and healing from attitudes that are unhelpful or unhealthy will take attention, honesty, practice, and support. I still have some annoying habits around money, and I have my own share of anxieties around it. But in many ways, I have healed and I've grown regarding money. And the support that I've received for my growth about money and real life has come from two sources: my friends and my congregational communities. Friends who are generous, no matter their wealth or poverty, no matter their situation, and religious communities that remind me of the abundance of life and the goodness of life. In a spiritual community like this one, I'm reminded to appreciate my blessings and give thanks. I learn about the needs of our hurting world beyond these walls, and I learn about generosity. Having been a Unitarian Universalist for 35 years, I have learned that it's possible to stretch myself and to give deeply and to feel good about it. I can give of my money, my talents, and my time and feel joy in it and freedom and purpose. I also can feel good about earning money, feel gratitude not only to have it, but satisfaction that I have something to offer that people choose to support. But as a fearful child from a family that thought about money, I had no idea what it meant spiritually to be paid or to pay others, to give or to receive. No sense of doing those things with ease and freedom when I was growing up. As a boy, I went with my mother on Sunday mornings to a mainline, middle of the road kind of church, and we paid a monthly pledge to the church and put money in the offering, but I didn't learn what stewardship really meant. Back in the 1970s, when I was growing up, many congregations were timid about the connection between money and your spiritual health, about the connections between money and our relationships to others and to the world around us. And after I left high school, I drifted away from church involvement and then started exploring again when I was about 24. And I explored various congregations of different kinds. And at the ones that I liked and visited more than once, or stayed in and made a commitment to, at those congregations, I found people who looked at serious matters with honesty, and that included matters having to do with our relationship to money. And I learned from those congregations what stewardship means. And this is what it means to me. Stewardship means taking a good look at what has been handed on to you for your use and your care. Whether it's this whole wide earth that we share, or our country, or our neighborhood, or our congregation, all of it is handed on to us for using and tending and sharing and passing along to others. We rise on the shoulders of generations and institutions that existed before we did. We live for a moment in the stream of life, and it flows on. Stewardship is about connectedness. It's about interdependence. It's about belonging to one another and belonging to the past and belonging to the future. As a new young Unitarian Universalist, I met people with diverse ideas about religious questions, including the idea that we can't know if there is a God or what the nature of God might be. Yet I met people who still had a practice of giving and sharing. From lay leaders in UU congregations and from ministers I had, I got the idea and the encouragement to set a target of giving away 10% of my annual gross income and to take steps toward that target over time, to move toward it gradually. And now I give about 6% of my yearly gross income to this congregation and another 5% of my income to other causes and organizations that I care about. I didn't learn to do this from my family. I learned this from people like you. But my family came through also. At least my big brother did. He eventually did give me a half share of that inheritance, but he dragged it out over time, sending me 2 installments in the mail. I didn't send a bill this time. And fortuitously, the checks arrived around the time that I began a graduate program for a Doctor of Ministry degree, and some of that money helped with tuition. And then our congregation conducted a capital fundraising campaign for the project that brought us this building, our first expansion and renovation in 53 years. And that was another good use for an unexpected gift. Nearly every religious tradition has something to say about money. Not because it's bad, and not because it's good or worthy of worship either. We should not idolize money, nor should we avoid it. But we can take it seriously. Like most resources, it is limited. Like our time, our attention, our talents, our health. It is limited and it is important. However much or however little we have of money, how we deal with it is a way to practice and grow in our sense of relationship, our sense of stewardship, our sense of interdependence. We can practice and we can strive to gain our money responsibly, receive it with gratitude, lend it or borrow it carefully, spend it thoughtfully, and share it with joy. Responsible, grateful, careful, thoughtful, joyful, joyful. So may it be. Blessed be, and amen.
Let's all rise together and sing glory, glory, hallelujah. Now we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I invite you to reach out to one another. Those of you on Zoom to reach out to us and to one another for the benediction. May you depart in peace. For all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. And for all who seek a right path, may a way be found and the courage to take it step by step, day by day, moment by moment, one breath at a time. Blessed be. Namaste.